I am making a video in reference to collections and lawsuits. So I wanted to give you guys some information if you're facing a lawsuit due to a collection, different ways that you can, or different, advice that I have. Like I said, I want to start off to let you know I am not an attorney. So this is for educational purpose only. If you do have issues, I always will advise you to talk to an attorney in your state, in your local area, about any legal matter. So I'm just sharing information with you guys about my past experiences and what I personally did to resolve some of my issues. So I would like to first start off by giving you guys a reminder. If you're watching me via YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and also like the video. If you're watching me by Facebook, I want you guys to also be aware that I have just started a Facebook group. If you enjoy the content and want to make sure that you catch the content, you can join the group, and it will be a more focused atmosphere for you. And I'm starting a 2020 credit jumpstart kickoff. So anyone who's looking to improve their credit this coming year, after the 1st of January, I will start like a 30-day kickoff. And so hopefully you should see an increase within or a little bit after 30 days, because it takes the bureaus, usually they update every 30 days, credit information, and you should be able to see an improvement in your credit score. I also want to give you guys group name. It's a quick guide how to boost your credit. And if you're interested in jumping in on this challenge or kickoff, what I want you guys to do is make sure you do some prerequisites that I'm suggesting. Get a credit monitoring type of subscription. You can use Credit Karma if you don't have the funds right now. That is fine. I just want you guys, because it's a free service, to be able to see the information that's reporting on your credit. That's very important, especially with inquiries that's being made, who to contact, and what negatives and positives are on your credit. You could do my FICA, Experian. I subscribe to Experian, but if you don't have the funds to do so, feel free to just to go with Credit Karma. Another thing I want you guys to make sure of, that you're not late on your payments this or next month, because if you have late payments, it can make your credit score dip 20, 30 points for the first 3 months, maybe 50 points, depending on what type of payment an account is made late. So it'll be counterproductive if you try to increase your credit and you're missing payments. So make sure that you're able to, straighten any payments that you're behind on out. If not, you could revisit my content and just take my advice and go from there at a later date. If you're not able to do so, I do totally understand that. Also, I want you guys to know I do have 3 books. My first book was a quick guide on how to boost your credit using merchandise cards. My second book was a quick guide to get student loan relief and improve your credit score. And my third book was a quick guide on how to boost your credit and stop collections. So if you want to check that out, I will put the links in the video and links on my Facebook page and links for the group. Anybody that's subscribing for YouTube, feel free to come on over to Facebook, and you guys can join in on the group also, and you can follow my page. Those that's on Facebook that want my YouTube channel, I'm going to have a link, but you can also search Sherry, Sherry, Beckley, Beckley, and then you can subscribe to my channel. Also, just a reminder, even with my books, if you want to check out the content, it's on, you can read for free on Kindle Unlimited, so you can preview the book and see if it's something that you're interested in ordering. So let's jump into the video. I'm talking about lawsuits being pursued or collections that look like they're about to initiate the lawsuit. Some things that you need to, some strategies or things that you need to look into if they are about to initiate a lawsuit, or currently you have a lawsuit against you, or you even have a judgment against you. So these tips might be helpful. Number one, look at the age of the debt. So every state has a statute many times of limitations on how long someone can pursue you for since an incident to collect on a debt. So some states have a 2-year statute of limitation. If the incident happened beyond that 2-year period, that person does not have a right to sue. So look at and check your statute of limitations. It's different for every state. See if they can even, under your state laws, under a statute of limitation, is the time expired for them to actually sue you. So that's a great tip that you need to look into immediately. Also, you need to check the service. Did they serve you properly if you have received the lawsuit? Each state, that's different, and it depends on the amount that they're suing you for. Sometimes they have to serve a person of a certain age in order for it to be a correct service. Some of them have to have a court officer to serve you. And the correct age, say if you have a 12-year-old child at home, a teenager that answered the door and they serve them. In my state, you have to at least be the age of 14 in order to receive a service. And it depends on the debt. You know, IRS lawsuits, they can leave it at your door, you know, the collections at your door. But usually with collections, there's a type of service that needs to be done in a type of way. Some of it for special civil, they might just send you a certified mail. And if it's not returned by the post office, they'll consider that a good service. So you need to check in. And even if you have a default judgment, check to see if you were served properly and what is the proper type of service in your state for that type of lawsuit. Number 5, you want to make sure they have proof that they actually own the debt. So a lot of times collection companies will buy these debts in bundles, in portfolios, and certain documentation is missed. So you want to make sure that they present you proof that they actually have, that they actually legally own the debt, so that the transfer was correct and that they really have ownership of the debt itself. So you can request that the debt was assigned to them. And number 6, a copy of your statement from your original creditor. So what this means is you can request from your original creditor the history and accounting of that account. So let's say Capital One. Say you started that card in 2008 and now it's 2019 going into 2020 and it was charged off and they sold that debt. You can request that the original creditor produce you accounting for that history of the whole time of the debt, which sometimes is pretty tough for them to do because they might not store it that late. So the reason why, let's say you made a payment over an automated system and that payment was not processed on time for a glitch in the system. And so they paid it a day late, which increased your interest on that card, which it shouldn't have been increased because the error was on the company's side. Now you're being charged a higher rate, which was unjustly put on you. So that's almost like an enrichment. They're charging you a higher debt for a profit that is really unjust to you. So what you can do is challenge the accuracy of the amount that they're actually suing you for, or they're trying to collect from you. So they cannot sue you beyond a loss that they're really owed. So make sure you look into that, how the fees was calculated, and to make sure that all of that is contractual. 7, getting down to the contract, request the original signed loan agreement, the original contract with your wet ink signature. If they cannot produce it, you can blow the whole case up and turn around, and you have a right now to sue, because if this caused you, this reporting, not to get a loan, this adversely, or not to get a job, not to get housing, this adversely affected you financially for a debt that they had no right to pursue at all. And because you do have a contract, does not mean that you gave them, in that the language of that contract, if it didn't give them right to assign the debt, that means another company cannot collect on that debt, only the original creditor. So also ask for the original application, because it could have been fraud. Might have not been my account at all. I might have not even signed to even allow you guys to initiate this application for this. So that's another way. It could have been a fraudulent account. So show me my signature on the original application and what I agree to, if I even asked for this account at all. So that's another one that you can look into. Also, number 10 is to make collection companies, even law companies, prove they have a license to collect in your state. Even if it's a law company, do they have a right, and are they licensed in your state? If it's a collections company, do they have a right to do collections in your state? You know, are they licensed? Some of them have to post a bond in order to collect in your state. Make sure they're following your state guidelines to be a debt collector in your state. So you can also check that. Also, countersue. That's a very effective tool to give you leverage. Like I always tell you guys, I got a suit right now pending against a collection agency because defamation of character. You know, if they're saying you owe a debt, you don't owe it. If they're saying you really do owe a debt, but the debt amount is incorrect and it stops you from getting loans, then they're lying. They're defaming your character. I might have got that loan if instead of saying I owe $200, you're stating I owe you $2,000. That prevented me to get a loan. That prevented me to get housing. So now I'm countersuing you because financially it affected me. And you're reporting negative things about my character. I don't pay on time. And you're putting it on my credit report. So you can countersue for defamation of character. And then that gives you some leverage for them to settle the case with you. And number 12, speak to an attorney. Make sure that you, even if you have to pay a fee for a consultation fee. And I'll give you a little story. One time I had a landlord-tenant issue and I went to court, and I knew when I was sitting there, and it took me 6 weeks to get to court, that I messed up on the filing of the timing of my paperwork, and I knew it was going to be thrown out. If I spoke to an attorney, they would have told me to wait a day or two, and then it cost me 6 weeks. In turn, I went and did a consultation with this attorney, and she's already told me, she said, you don't need me to come into court. Your paperwork is really good. She said, it was your timing issue. You just was short like 3 days. So it cost me court fees. And then she told me, pointed out in my contract, she said, see right here, this is what you stand on. And she said, you got everything that you need. She told me some paperwork I didn't need to file, but she showed me, and she gave me another way of telling me how to prove my case out. So it was worth the $100 consultation fee. And then in return, I went there, and she, now she do my contracts for my real estate, my leasing contracts. So if I would have consulted an attorney, sometimes they can just look at the paperwork that you have and tell you what you should do or what you should stand for or stand on, what grounds you should stand on, even if you're representing yourself. So I hope this information was valuable to you guys. If you have any suggestions about future videos you want to make sure you put it in the comments. And I hope you guys have